How big does an organization need to be when you actually start?
Typically start the conversation with, when was the last time our operation was down, or when did we really lose money? Tell me about what that looked like. If you're in my world, somebody will say, we lost the line. It was down for 3 days. And we lost X number of dollars. And it was because Bob forgot to do an update on a machine or something. It wasn't even a cyber attack, but you get them to start talking about what those risks are down here in Louisiana, hurricanes, and maybe your business doesn't get by a hurricane, but you're shut down while everybody's out of town, kind of fleeing the event, the loss there. Well, how do you deal with that? How do you shut down operations, reconstitute operations if you have to look at it from that perspective? Just as an exercise, saying what are the things that could cause us to potentially have some type of material loss, and what are those ranges? And that's what, if you're dealing in risk quantification, and this goes back to Doug Hubbard, really kind of the initial person brought this into the space with research, a method called calibrated estimation. And calibrated estimation, what you do is just get that range, right? So you get the expert in the room. So maybe you have the CFO, maybe you have the CEO, and you say, okay, when you guys had that loss, the range, so do you think that would hit from an annual or hourly perspective, whatever you can get them to give you that number? It's between 10 million and 5 million, or it's between 1 and 6. So you've got more data by doing that than just getting somebody to say, hey, I rate that as a 1 or a 2. And then typically what I do to get the next piece of it is, you'll see a lot of risk quantification folks say, give me a percent, your percent likely. And people struggle with that. Go back to the CEO and say, hey, when was the last time, let's use the hurricane example as a resilience example. When was the last time a hurricane really impacted your operation? Oh, well, it was Ida. Well, when was that? That was 5 years ago. Well, when was it before that? Well, it was probably another 5 before we had an event like that. So what you're telling me is type of event could happen once every about 5 years. No, it's probably more like 1 in 7. Getting those executives to start talking about what could impact their business, and then just even with that very simple math, the ability to turn that into a loss exceedance or loss expectancy, can at least get an estimate. Now you're stack ranking dollars rather than 1 through 5 numbers that mean absolutely nothing to the business. I typically approach those conversations. They'll see that number. They'll say, well, Chris, you came up with a $3 million loss a year. Well, that's the same as you driving in your car, right? You don't have a wreck every day you go out and drive your car. Insurance agency is extracting that premium because they've done the same estimate. They've said, over the lifetime of you driving that car, if I spread that out, the annual loss expectancy is maybe $1,000 a month. Who knows, right? But God forbid you get a car and you have an accident or something, a big deal. That could be a 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 year event. Maybe a 1 in never 1 in 50. You're starting to get that ranging and understanding, and then it helps that organization figure out, hey, this is where we need to put our money to address things, right?